inside. Bradshaw, Stabler back. Here comes the rush. He sidesteps. Can he throw? He can't. The ball flipped forward is loose. A wild scramble. 2 seconds on the clock. Casper grabbing the ball. It is on the fumble. Casper has recovered in the end zone. The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here. He does.
Welcome to the Ladies of Darkness, a member of the Crow's Nest Podcast Network.
Brought to you by DC4L Custom Tees and Captain Jack Rackham. If you know anyone who would be interested in sponsoring the ladies, hit us up. Make sure you catch Andria every other Tuesday on The Captain and His Wenches with Captain Jack Rackham, Heidi, and Peggy Holmes. Today on the show, we are coming out of the bye week, and we'll talk about what we can expect heading east to face the Giants. Get your picks in for final scores contest. A couple people have won. We're still not seeing very many guesses, but we'd like to see more. You could win cool prizes, so get your guesses in. What's up with you?
Well, I had just one cool thing I wanted to talk about this week. I was tagged in a tweet from one of my followers that asked, I wonder if Amy Trask follows Andria Trask. And I said, the answer is no, but it would be such an honor. And guess what?
What?
She followed me.
No, she didn't.
She did. I was so excited.
Did you pee your pants?
Almost. It was really close. She's such an inspiration to, especially those of us Raiderettes that are, longtime fans. She's been amazing. She's just awesome. She was the first female NFL executive. She was with the team from, I think it was 1984. I can't remember exactly the year, but until Al Davis passed away. And since then, she's been just active in the NFL community. And my goodness, I just love her to death.
She is awesome. And she's one of those people that goes out of her way to be nice to fans, and you don't see that very often. She'll reply to my tweets or like them, and that's really nice.
I mean, she's always like that too. It's even if somebody's rude to her, I've seen her with the most amazingly diplomatic and kind responses. I don't think I could ever do that. Now, and the funny thing is, she's called the Princess of Darkness because obviously, and we're the Ladies of Darkness, and Kane actually suggested our name. So Kane from the Pillaging Podcast. And when we had to change our name because of the NFL issues we had, blah, 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 which I think somebody reported us because somebody's a dick. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how else would the NFL know? I don't know. Whatever. Screw it. Who cares?
Yeah.
When we were having to change our name, Kane came up with the Ladies of Darkness, and somebody on Twitter made a rude comment about, well, God, they can't be the Ladies of Darkness. That's just copying Amy Trask. And he was like, well, every princess has to have their ladies in waiting. And I was like, that's it.
Yes.
Right there.
And Amy Trask would be mad about it.
Right?
She would love it.
I think she would. And we're going to tag her this week.
We should, and we should get her on the show. Let's do that.
All right. That's a challenge. Amy Trask, we would be so honored if you'd come on the show. We'll give you as much time as you want or as little. I don't care. You can come on and say hello. Thanks for following me and goodbye. That would be fine, but it would be just an amazing honor to have you on and pick your brain and just know, exactly what you're thinking, even though we follow you pretty closely. So
yes, and thank you for everything you've done too.
Oh yeah,
and,
for everything for football. She
could totally join our contest and maybe win some cool prizes. So
yeah, we'll send you a Ladies of Darkness shirt.
Yeah,
or, socks or leggings or whatever. We have a ton of
it. Yes.
So what news from Jenny's world?
Nothing too significant. Sunday was Halloween, as you know. I really go all out on Halloween. I love Halloween.
Because it's almost frightening how dedicated you are to Halloween. It's crazy.
so funny.
I know. Unintentional. Very punny.
Yes, so punny. Even with the fact that I don't have any money right now, and because of the move and the baby and the fact that no one wants to hire me for some reason, I still spent a disgusting amount of money on Halloween because of our costumes. And I spent a very long time painting everyone's faces and, making it fun for the kid because, that's what Halloween's all about. Aside from it being all about me, it's also about having fun with the kids.
Right.
So we, of course, watched half of the Cowboys game, and then during halftime, we went out trick-or-treating. There were 0 kids outside. Like, it was a ghost town. I know. And when I was a kid, I lived in apartments, and I would go to, like, all the apartments, like, complexes. I'd go to, like, 3 apartment complexes. I'd come back with 2 pillowcases full of candy. And so when we moved here, I was like, Aaliyah, Halloween's going to be so awesome here. Like, we're going to get to go to all these apartments, and you'll get so much candy. We knocked on doors. Nothing. Saw no kids. Saw really nobody. She got 3 pieces of candy from this one creepy dude that was sitting outside, and that was it.
Wow. I wonder if it's COVID or people are just not interested in being
people
friendly anymore.
Over Halloween. I think it's dying.
I hope not.
My mom didn't get any trick-or-treaters.
We didn't get any either, but we rarely do. Usually we have maybe 1 or 2. I don't even buy candy anymore because it's hard to get rid of it, and I certainly don't want to get rid of it into my stomach to go straight to my butt.
Right. Well, that was a huge disappointment, and I was really sad about it, and so was the kid, obviously.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would totally give her candy if she came to my door. I wish she could, but unfortunately we live in different states.
Yeah, it might take a little while to walk there.
And your costumes were amazing. I don't know if you posted them,
Thank you.
Put them on Twitter, but you should, because the picture I got was awesome. The makeup looks great, and I can see how you spent a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, I'm a freak.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's always next year.
Hopefully.
I usually leave up my Halloween decorations for far too long. But
until
I was so
Thanksgiving.
sad. I took them down the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's how bad it was.
Depressing. It's like when the Raiders lose 5 games in a row. I just can't wear anything Raiders related anymore because it's ruined. The season's ruined. It's terrible.
Yes. Well, luckily we haven't had to deal with that this year. Hopefully we won't.
So far, so good.
Yes. Well, that's my only news.
Yeah, we're pretty simple this week, huh?
Yeah, well, it's bye week, so what are you going to do? Call us on our new number, 559-862-4LOD, and check out our website at ladiesofdarkness.com. Oh, I have one more thing to say about my Halloween.
Oh, okay.
So part of my makeup was these temporary stick-on tattoos, where you put like the water on your face or paper towel, whatever. When I was doing that, I didn't think these kind of last a while. Like they don't just wash off.
Yeah.
So after the horrible trick-or-treating, I took a shower, I scrubbed my face 3 times, and they didn't come off. And I've had this one piece on my eyelid that is going to be there forever. People
You're permanently tattooed.
Yes.
It's like getting that cosmetic tattooing on your eye with the the eyeliner or the eyebrows or whatever.
Yeah, but this time it was wounds and what are those called? Stitches. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody's going to think that Mark beats you from now on, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I remember, you know what? Try, and it's right on your eye, so you might not want to do it, but you can try hand sanitizer because that usually takes off just about everything. It's crazy how much that takes off. So, just a tip.
Okay, I'll try that.
All right. Well, let's get into team news.
I want better execution. Are we clear on that?
I want better fucking execution.
All right. So this week, we head to the East Coast to battle the New York Giants. The Giants had a good game overall against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football this week, which was great. Obviously, didn't end the way we wanted it to, but they really fought their hearts out.
They did. All the way until that last flag that they just blew it.
Yeah.
Damn it, Giants.
I know. So that could be a preview of how they might plan to play against the Raiders. But the Raiders are better than the Chiefs, so I don't see it being an issue on our end.
One of the concerns, I guess, is Daniel Jones, because he can be a good quarterback. He's fun to watch. Most people think he's really fun to watch, and I agree. I think he can be incredibly fun, but he can also be incredibly entertaining for the wrong reasons. And I'm talking about like a couple, was it last season or the season before, when he tripped himself trying to go get a touchdown? Oh, poor dude. He was 5 yards away from the end zone, and he just tripped over his own foot. So we'd be okay seeing that kind of Daniel Jones, but Danny Dimes had some really good play this last week, and I think we have a better pass rush than the Chiefs, so it might be a lot easier for our pass rush to get home and flush him out and kind of make him nervous. So fingers crossed that happens. I say fingers crossed a lot. I was thinking about the words that I say a lot this week when I was listening to last week's episode, and I was like, well, I need to stop saying anyways, but fingers crossed. But 5 points for anyone who knows where that came from.
I do.
Yay. I think the both of us are well versed on that one.
Yes.
So we can kind of, I guess, pontificate on what the Giants are going to do against the Raiders. Their secondary was all over the Chiefs. They could not pass a ball to save their lives. Travis Kelce was basically neutralized most of the game, as was Tyreek Hill, which was great because I was playing against him in my fantasy football league, and that would have made all the difference. So I won, luckily. And I was happy about that. With our team, they're going to have to figure out something different. So we're going to get into that a little bit later in the game preview. Watching last week's game, or Monday night's game, I'm really confident that we're going to have a decent chance to beat the pants off of them. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned. I mean, it's hard to say after watching the Chiefs play them, because a lot of that was penalties that...
Oh, yeah.
Like, they wouldn't have won if it weren't for a couple penalties.
Yeah.
So
that was definitely a big, huge part of the game. Yeah. Now, that last penalty, I think it was an offsides penalty that against the Giants, that sealed their fate. They totally could have won that game if they had, been a little bit more restrained.
For sure.
But they weren't, so oh well. Well, I guess we better talk about the elephant in the room.
Ugh.
I know. It's really disappointing. But we had a huge, huge loss on the team this week.
Yes, we did. For a terrible, terrible reason, too. I don't want to talk about it too much because it makes me sad. But I'm sure you've all heard. Ruggs made a huge, terrible mistake and drove drunk and crashed his Corvette and killed somebody. It's devastating in so many ways. And now he's no longer with the Raiders. And that's all I want to say about it.
All I want to say about it is it's really sad for the woman who died. It's just tragic. I can't believe that happened. We talked about this on the Captain and His Wenches, and Peggy Holmes made a really good point. Everybody makes mistakes in their lives, And we all probably have a story that could have ended up this way. But in my opinion, you give young 22-year-old guys millions of dollars and free reign, and they make mistakes, and sometimes they're a lot bigger than anybody else's.
Yeah.
So we're going to make condolences to that woman's family.
For sure.
And her dog. It's just really, really sad.
She had a dog with her?
Yeah, her dog was in the car.
Oh.
And I don't want to talk about the details because it's just horrendous and horrifying. And I'm really disappointed that that happened. And I mean, his life is essentially over.
Yeah.
And it was his own fault.
It's so heartbreaking.
It is in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So that's all we're going to say about that. Let's move on.
It makes me way too sad to talk about. But her family is in our thoughts, and so is Ruggs. I mean, I'm sure he's not happy with himself, and I can't even imagine living through that and having to think about it and deal with the consequences.
Well, now that we've got that out of the way, let's do our game preview. As we mentioned, the Raiders are heading to New York to face the 2-6 Giants. Their 2 wins were against the Saints, who just beat the Bucks, and the Panthers, who just beat the Falcons. This week, with Darren Waller still a question mark and obviously no Ruggs, the Giants will have to scheme for the remaining offensive weapons, which include Foster Moreau, Brian Edwards, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, Alec Ingold, and of course, the amazing, awesome, always consistent Hunter Renfrow. It's going to be interesting to see if they can account for all of those guys.
Oh, yeah. And I think those are some pretty good offensive weapons we have.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we are losing Ruggs and maybe not having Waller. I mean, yeah, that's terrible, but look at these guys we have. I'm not concerned about that.
The Eagles didn't do very well in accounting for a few of those guys.
Questions are flying about who will take over for Ruggs. Need a burner that can garner the same amount of attention and who is fast. Like, man, that guy was fast. Zay Jones has been listed as WR1 on the depth chart, so obviously they have faith that he'll have a decent opportunity to draw attention, and I agree. He's been great the few times that he's caught a ball. I like him a lot, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of him, and hopefully it works out.
In his few games that he's made some moves, he kind of won that first game for us against the Ravens because he caught a 23-yarder to run it in for the touchdown in overtime. And against the Eagles last week, he had 1 reception, and it was for 43 yards.
Yes.
And that reception was awesome because he did one of the coolest toe tap receptions I've seen all season from the Raiders.
Yeah, it was very impressive.
All right. Well, let's see. The trade deadline was 11-2, and the Raiders made a lot of moves, but nothing really major. They activated Javen White from IR. HaHa Clinton Dix was restored to the practice squad. Haha, that was terrible. Oh my God, you're fired. They subsequently waived Javen White, and released MV Peterman. But wait, there's more. Also released Tony Brown and obviously Ruggs.
They signed Markel Lee to active roster, Peterman and Aitman to practice squad, and released tackle Dan Skipper. Skipper.
I love
it. They released Willie Snead, reportedly at his request. That makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, me too.
But, shit happens, I guess.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we're in need of a wide receiver. We'll see what happens.
Yes. And they signed center Hronis Grasu to the practice squad. He definitely has an interesting name, so we'll see how that goes. He was drafted in 2015, I think, to the Bears, if I remember that correctly. But now he's part of the Raiders.
Well, all the offensive linemen we can get are probably good.
Yeah.
I wonder why we haven't elevated Trufant or Fluker yet, but I assume that Gus Bradley's just happy with Casey Hayward and Face On, who I call Face Off. Face On, whatever his name is.
Face Off.
That's another one I need to stop saying. Whatever.
I say anywho a lot. Anywho.
Yeah, not as much as I. Anyways.
Sorry y'all have to listen to us, but we appreciate it.
Yep. Love it. Thanks. At least we're entertaining sometimes. It's a good thing. So we're going to have, by the way, we're going to have a soundtrack in the background right now because Jack was not going to take a nap. So it's kind of like a throwback to our Sweaty Balls days.
Aw, Sweaty Balls.
Shout out to Monster Mash Ken.
Aww. Man, we've been doing this for a long time.
It has been a while. It really has.
Yeah. I think we're in our 5th year.
Holy cow.
4th, maybe. 4th or 5th.
4th year. I think we're in our 4th year, yeah. So we can always look back and see. But anyways, since it was bye week, that's really all we have to talk about for the Raiders. We'll
Nothing too cool.
Hopefully do as well as we should do against the Giants. But let's not take it to the bank just yet.
And I don't have to be sad without my Raiders this weekend, so that's nice.
It was kind of depressing.
It was. At least it was Halloween, so I had stuff to do, but Halloween was depressing too, so.
Right. You didn't get any breaks whatsoever. All right, well, I guess let's move to news outside the nation.
To satisfy your passing fancy with the rest of the league, here's the news outside the nation.
Whatever. And we say well a lot. Did we already say that? Because we both said well at the same time.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
Well, this week once again brought some really big surprises and interesting games. The Packers handed Cardinals their first loss of the season, which I called from 800 miles away. I think a lot of people did. And I mean, it was kind of sad. I wanted the Cardinals to win just because I live here and people were excited about that, but whatever. The Cowboys will be playing the Broncos this Sunday. The Cowboys are favored by 10. We're hoping they beat the Broncos.
Of course, we want them to win.
They'll be 4-5. The Cowboys will have won 7 games in a row if they win this weekend.
Wow.
That's crazy to say.
Mm-hmm.
Their only loss was their first game against the Bucs, which they almost won. So yeah, that's interesting.
I had a dream last night. It was kind of a nightmare. So what happened was, what had happened was, I had a friend who used to say that all the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, calm down, lady. I specifically remember watching the game. The point that I was watching it, we were losing to the Cowboys 54-5.
Oh no.
It's ridiculous. That's a nightmare. I don't know why that happened. I don't know what. I guess I'm just scared of the Cowboys. I mean, they're good this year.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to pull off that win without their quarterback was pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, that's craziness.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of the most boring football games I've ever watched, but the final 2 minutes were exciting, and it was kind of a big deal in our house because they played the Vikings, and we just moved from Minnesota, so of course my fiance Mark is a huge Cowboys fan, so he got to talk a lot of crap to our our friends from Minnesota who are Vikings fans. So that was fun. Okay, well, back to your dream. The Cowboys and the Raiders play on Thanksgiving this year, and if we lose, what'd you say, 45-5? 54-5? 54-5, I will never hear the end of it, and I might have to leave my fiance and move back to Minnesota or something.
That's a real possibility. Not them winning 54-5, but it's a real possibility that you'd have to leave.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially
that would
after
That's
what
grounds for
happened
divorce. Yeah.
last time they played. Oh, for sure.
Oh my God. Was that the index card?
It was the index card game. And we're still talking about that, and that was 5 years ago. 4 years ago?
Ridiculous.
5 years ago.
4 years ago. I think it was a year. Yeah, it was 4 years ago, because that would have been the last time we played NFC East.
Huh. Well,
and it was no fun.
No. But as long as the Cowboys don't beat the Raiders 54-5, we should be okay.
Or, for any
Or at
number.
all.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care what the score is. Just as long as they don't beat the Raiders, that would be great.
Yes, they won't. We've got this.
That's right. We do.
And we still have a few weeks to worry about that.
Yep, 1 week at a time.
This year on Thanksgiving, this is my first Thanksgiving in Arizona for a long time now, and my family has decided that I am hosting Thanksgiving. So my brother's
that was
coming.
Nice of them.
Right? My grandma's coming, my mom's coming, and I told everybody the Cowboys and Raiders play at 2:00 or whatever, so you guys either have to leave or you have to stay and watch the game with us. And so I think my mom and my brother are going to watch it with us. My mom's going to take my grandma home. But I don't think they understand how loud it gets in our house during football, especially when the Raiders and Cowboys are playing each other. But it should be interesting. It's also interesting not drinking during football season, because normally that's like my fun time.
I was actually going to ask you about your not drinking during football season, so you'll know now what it's like for the rest of us who don't drink.
It's been weird. I love beer and I love tequila, and my brother was going to bring me a really expensive fancy bottle of tequila, and when I told him this last week that I was pregnant, and he was like, "Oh, I guess no tequila." And I was like, "Don't remind me, I'm so sad." And he's like, "Well, it's for a good cause." And I thought that was nice, because he's big into his fancy beer and tequila and stuff as well. So it was nice of him to say that to make me feel a little better.
That's very thoughtful. What a good brother.
Right, exactly. But yeah, definitely an interesting football season for me. Back to some news here. Jameis Winston had a season-ending injury to his knee. It was very gross to watch. Don't go back and look at it if things like that gross you out, because it was nasty. Derrick Henry is also having some issues. He's having surgery on his foot that might end his season, which would really, really suck for the Titans. Derrick Henry is their best player, so the question is if they're going to remain as competitive as they have been. I guess we'll see. They haven't been playing too terribly, but I think that without Derrick Henry, the whole team will fall apart. No offense, but it happens.
He's kind of the glue, but the last two games, especially the game against it was the Chiefs, 27-3 or something. When they played that game, Derrick Henry he had one passing touchdown, and that was it. He didn't have any rushing touchdowns, and his stats weren't that great. I don't even think he hit 100 yards.
I don't know. It could go either way, I guess.
Totally could.
But definitely sucks for you having him on your fantasy teams.
I had to take him off and replace him with a couple other people. Whatever. We'll see. By the way, is your mom in first place in our league right now?
She's tied with you and Mark.
Oh, I thought I was in like third or fourth, but...
No, you're both 6-1 or 6-2 or whatever.
6-2, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, your mom, I don't know if it's beginner's luck or if she's just got a knack for this.
She is good. She told me, she texts me every weekend about fantasy, and she makes all her own moves. I don't help her with her lineup or anything. Once in a while I'll look at it and she'll say like, "Hey, should I play Brady or Stafford?" And, we'll kind of talk about that. But she's like, "I'm having a lot of fun." I'm like, "That's because you're winning."
Yeah, wait till you're 0-10, and you know how we feel. And every year's a little different, so.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything about football. I mean,
Right.
It's funny. She's a Jets fan, but I don't think she's ever even watched a football game.
It's probably a good thing if she's a Jets fan.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to have that depression.
Yeah. Mark is like, we should invite her over this Thursday for the Jets game. I'm like, she's not going to want to do that.
No. Don't depress her.
Yeah. But I actually think the Jets will win this week.
Who are they playing this week?
It's the Colts.
They might be able to beat the Colts.
The Jets are 2-5 and the Colts are 3-5. The Colts are 10.5 favorites, so I don't know.
Colts just lost a heartbreaker.
Yeah. The Colts lost in overtime to the Titans.
Yeah, that was a good game. It was a very good game.
That was a good game. So what you got for news outside the nation?
Well, I was sent a message by a gentleman we had on the show a few weeks back, T3 Raider Facts, and he said, well, I have a Seriously Bro for you, but we're going to go ahead and do it in News Outside the Nation, because we have another Seriously Bro that's going to be totally worth it. CeeDee Lamb. I'm just going to go ahead and say seriously, bro.
For real.
So Dallas's second-year receiver has been doing his very best to waste all of his first-round draft pick money. He has been fined 5 times over the first 6 weeks and has basically paid 4% of his salary for fines. Now here, let me read this to you per NFL Sports. Lamb has been fined twice for having his jersey untucked, $5,150 for the first offense, and then $15,450 for the second offense, according to Adam Schefter. The NFL triples the amount of the fine with each successive offense. So if it happens again, he'll be fined $46,350.
Oh my gosh.
They also fined him, $5,150 for having socks that failed to cover his lower legs in a game. Jenny has something to say about that sock thing.
Okay, that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. Ever since I heard about this, I've been looking at player socks, and half of them are down low. Like, the defense or like the O-line. Is it because of a safety issue? Like, why is it such a huge deal? Do they just want him to look nice? Like, do you know why it's such a big deal to have his socks too low?
I really don't, unless it's just uniform regularity. Obviously it's uniform, so they have to be uniform. And it's funny to me that they fined him for an untucked jersey, because Michael Crabtree lived with his jersey down around his ass. So it's like, I don't remember hearing that he ever got fined for anything. So
I wonder if this is new.
It might be. It very well could be. I don't know if they're if the NFL added stuff on their list of things to fine for. Whatever.
I don't know, but that's ridiculous, and I'm sorry, but it's a freaking sock.
I know. I can't imagine that would be safety purposes, because how much is a sock going to protect you?
I don't know. I can't think of any other reason, unless it is just because they, uniform, whatever. But you have to, going forward, you have to look at everyone's socks, because I swear half of them are down. I'm
going to pay attention to that starting tomorrow.
And I kind of want to go back and look at Lamb's socks in the game that he got fined for that. Cause
I know. I just want to check it out too. And then look at everybody else's socks on the field, just to see if everybody else's, or if there's other people that are doing the same thing. So, well, he also had a fine for taunting and for an illegal crackback block, which both of those totaled $46,865.
That's
good
crazy.
Lord, dude.
Did you see his taunting?
No, I didn't.
It was funny.
If it was sneezing in somebody's direction, I wouldn't be surprised, because they've been throwing flags for the dumbest crap. We're going to talk about that later in the show too. So stay tuned.
Well, He scored a touchdown at the end of the game, and he waved this snotty-ass wave at the guy defending him. And I said, oh, he's going to get in trouble for that.
And boom.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So he got a flag for it, I assume, and then he was fined, or?
I don't remember him getting a flag for it. I mean, he might have, but it was the last play of the game, if I remember correctly. I might not be remembering correctly, but I don't remember a flag.
Well, either way, he still got fined.
It's
probably around
ridiculous.
$20,000. Just for information, NFL players, they can appeal fines either by claiming they did not violate the rule in question or by claiming the amount of the fine is excessive relative to the infraction. Relative to the player's salary. It's unclear whether Lamb has appealed any of his fines, but we're going to keep an eye on it because it's really interesting. I want to know about Sockgate. What's going on?
I do too. That's freaking hilarious.
Let's talk about our games of the week. What was your favorite this week? And I'll talk about mine.
My favorite game of the week was the Packers-Cardinals game. I kind of talked about it a little bit before. I did pick the Packers to win, but I was hoping the Cardinals would win. Rodgers went 22 for 37, and Murray went 22 for 33, which is better if you're going to do the math. But Murray threw 2 interceptions and no touchdowns.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right? And Rodgers only threw for 184 yards, obviously because he didn't have Adams. And Murray threw for 274 yards, still with no touchdowns.
And 2 interceptions.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen to the Cardinals now. I kind of have a feeling they're just going to go downhill and lose all the rest of their games.
You never know.
Yeah. But it was a fun game to watch. I mean, it was close, and it ended 24-21. And the Cardinals really had a chance.
I didn't get to watch that game. I only got to watch the clips on Red Zone. So I was really shocked. But I was glad to see that, the Cardinals aren't undefeated anymore because I don't like it. At this point in the season, it just seems lopsided when somebody's undefeated.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
There are a lot of 6-1 or 7-1 or whatever it is now teams.
Yeah, there are, and it's kind of more exciting to see that.
Yeah, it is. But you know who isn't one of those teams anymore?
The Cardinals.
Boop, 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 boop. The Bucks.
Yeah.
The
Bucks. Yes.
Yep. They're 6-2. Except, of course, they're still first in the NFC South. But whatever.
Blah blah blah. Whatever.
All right. What's your game of the week?
My game of the week was the Titans and Colts.
Oh, that's a good game. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun to watch. It was back and forth, and they did a lot of scoring. And the Colts came back at the very end to tie the game and send it into overtime. And then the Titans were able to drive down the field and get themselves a field goal.
For the OT win?
34-31.
Nice. There have been a lot of games this season going into overtime, and that makes it a lot more fun to watch.
It certainly does. I really enjoy the competition when it's a lot closer.
Yeah.
As opposed to watching the Patriots go 18-0, and I mean, then losing the Super Bowl, it's almost worth it, but it's really annoying.
Yeah, and it's boring. The only games I want to see that are blowouts are the Raiders winning, but the rest of them, it's fun to watch. When it's a close game, it's back and forth, and overtime's always fun. There's got to be a record this year of how many overtime games there's been.
There probably will be. It seems like it's going that direction. I think the Raiders in the first few weeks with their overtime games were like Cardiac Kids 2.0, and I don't know if you remember that, but I think it was the Bengals back in the 80s. And I'm just going off the top of my head. So they were called the Cardiac Kids because they like every single game it was like down to the wire, and the fans had no idea if they're going to win or lose, and oh dear God, I'm going to have a heart attack. And we've already kind of talked about how many heart attacks the Raiders may have caused over the last several years. Or in their entire tenure, but I'm sure it's a lot.
First couple games caused some, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally. I feel really bad for the Lions because they're on track to go 6-0-16 again. But
Oh,
maybe,
it makes me so sad.
it's sad.
I'm picking them
I
to
root for those
win
guys.
just because I feel bad for them.
That might be all it takes. Sometimes it's just the good vibes. Somebody needs to send them a little bit of karma. Here, have some fun. Do something good.
I was just talking about this the other day. Why do the Lions get to play every Thanksgiving when they suck every year?
That's
They should
just a
pick a
tradition. It used to be
better
the
team.
Lions versus the Bears, and the Cowboys versus who the hell was it?
Redskins. But yeah, they
Back
should
in the Madden
switch it up.
days.
Play a better team. Sorry, Lions.
It's got to be a little bit more entertaining, though. Back in the Madden days, I don't know if you remember, he used to, on Thanksgiving, he'd wheel out a turkey with like 8 legs on it, and he'd hand out a turkey leg to all of his top players on both the teams, win or lose. He would just hand out turkey legs. So this really
why
creepy
does a
looking
turkey have
with
8 legs? That's gross.
Because he wanted, usually you'd have 4 players on each team, and he wanted to hand out, a turkey leg to everybody that did well.
That's hilarious.
It was seriously the creepiest. This week I felt really bad because Heidi had the Seahawks defense on her fantasy team. And I just, they played the Jags, and I felt really bad. The Jags were getting shut out. So I was rooting for them to just get one score, just get a touchdown. That's just one touch or one field goal. It doesn't matter. Just don't get shut out.
Just anything.
Anything will work. And of course, towards the very end of the game, they did score a touchdown. And that cost Heidi 5 points on her fantasy team, and that's what made the difference. So she lost, and I feel bad. Sorry, Heidi.
Poor Heidi.
Yep.
It happens to us all.
Yeah, no shit. And speaking of Heidi, make sure you catch her on the Only Nation podcast. Now it's time for our favorite segment of all time.
Time for Lady Killer.
Who's the Lady Killer?
Baby, I'm down, girl.
Obviously, we're on a bye, so we don't have any players for a Lady Killer, but who would you give some love to this week?
I'm going to give some love to the Saints for beating the Bucks because it's always nice to see Tom Brady lose. So Saints, you get to be our Lady Killer. Thank you and congratulations.
It was good. It was good to watch, except for that nasty leg injury. Sorry, Jameis Winston, you had to sacrifice your season for it, but they played pretty good afterwards still too. So that was good.
Yes, it was great.
So congrats.
Yes, and hopefully we have a even cooler Lady Killer next week.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. The boys are back. We can't wait. So let's do our favorite segment, Seriously Bro.
You know we all have our moments. Some of them earn a place on our wall of shame. Seriously, bro.
Seriously, bro. What you got this week?
This week, I wanted to talk about how atrocious the refs were.
Boo.
Boo. Jack's back here booing. I got to catch some of the horrible calls that they made, and I have to tell you, there were a lot. It seemed like they were just awful this week, and they're not great every week. It's the refs. It's a subjective job, so I get it. Sometimes you're just going to make bad calls, but this week, so one of the things that I really just couldn't stand, there was a flag on DK Metcalf for unsportsmanlike conduct for jumping on the goalpost. That was just stupid to me. What the hell? Seriously, bro? What are you doing?
Seriously, bro? That's ridiculous.
I know. It's not like he was doing a stupid end zone dance.
Let players celebrate however they want to celebrate, man. Come on.
I know.
Seriously, bro?
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't either. And it's funny.
It is.
It makes games more fun to watch.
It's almost like he was humping the post. I don't care. It makes the games more interesting and entertaining, and it kind of is a nice throwback to old school football when when people taunted each other all the time and had fun and got in fights. And I mean, I know that's not what people want to see anymore, fights and crap like that, but we miss that old football. I'll tell you what.
Remember a few years ago when I think it was Zeke's first season, he jumped in the Salvation Army thing?
Yes.
That was
the
fun.
bucket.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I hated him, but it was still funny to watch that. It was really entertaining, and it's like he was jumping in there for the kids or something.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But seriously, bro, let the players have fun. It's the rest of us are having fun watching it, so calm down.
Yeah.
Also, in the game, the Chargers game versus the Patriots, which, by the way, was not a bad game at all either, Mac Jones was hit rather hard, and it should have been roughing the passer, but they didn't even bother to throw the flag. There was nothing.
Seriously, bro?
Nothing. Seriously, bro. Crazy.
They're really, really inconsistent on their flags for roughing the passer.
They are.
You never know.
Yeah, it depends on who they're calling it against and who they're calling it for.
Yeah.
Seriously, bro.
Seriously,
bro. My dog is being a dick. Speaking of inconsistent, the Chiefs and Giants game had a ridiculous amount of flags, but somehow a majority of them seemed like they were against the Chiefs. I don't think I've ever seen that before in Arrowhead.
I know, and I was sure they would lose because of it, but they didn't.
Well, they almost did. I think that was a big part of their problem.
Yeah.
And I also think that the Chiefs are just losing their luster. We've mentioned it before that people are kind of figuring it out. So seriously, bro, we're very happy about that. It's okay. Take your time. Get back to true form in about 10 or 15 years. We'll see you then. Seriously, bro.
Seriously, bro.
Well, let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on Ladies of Darkness, a Crow's Nest Podcast Network production. If you're interested in donating some money to keep the ladies in the dark, please do so. Our PayPal link will be up on all of our social media accounts. Coming soon, more of us. So make sure you subscribe to us in your favorite podcast app to get all of our shows.
And once again, we do have a new phone number, so call us, text us, leave a voicemail. We just want to hear from you. 559-862-4LOD. Or you can go to our website at ladiesofdarkness.com to check in, find all of our episodes, and find our social media, which will have all of our announcements for upcoming contests, giveaways, and make sure you get in on the action. Remember, you can find me every other Tuesday on the Captain and His Wenches, hanging out with Captain Jack Rackham, Heidi and Peggy. And we might have a special Jenny guest on the next episode, which is the Tuesday after next. So
Who, me?
Tuned. You!
How exciting.
I know. I can't wait.
Oh, me too.
It's going to be almost as exciting as the Raiders game.
Yay! I can't wait.
I know, me neither. So until Sunday, go Raiders.
Go Raiders!